24. It is 5:31. And if you will join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if we can get an adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda for April 16th, 2024 as submitted.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're going to go into our information and discussion items. Item 2, A is recognitions, proclamations. Anybody on the board have any recognitions this evening?
Yes,
All
I
right.
just have to
Sandy.
put it down in my bag. I thought it was, wanted to give recognition to our, Mr. Gorman and Clint Bushbaum, and I don't remember the other names, that did such a great job on the Project Momentum, that they were going to use your thing as a model for other schools. I thought that was great, that we did a really good job. Daddy Chavez, I thought that was great that she got chosen as a leader rep for JAG, which I think is a marvelous program, and I love it, and I'll leave some for other people.
It's for the high school and the state.
Yeah.
That was great. All right, Randy, do you have anything tonight?
Just a congratulations for the JAG team on how they did on the state there. That group just impresses me every time I hear about them, more and more. It's just great. That's all I got.
All right, thanks, Randy. Susan?
Just to remind everybody that the high school theater arts department is performing this Thursday and Friday, and you'll see a lovely performance of Wonderland with my daughter in it. So 7 p.m. I'm very excited. I'll see you all there. That's it.
Yay. All right, Ron.
No, I don't have anything.
Dr. Amandini.
I just have a couple of things. I want to sincerely congratulate our students who are in the middle of completing state testing. Our district will finish these requirements next week, and our students and staff have worked very hard to ensure a successful testing environment, and we look forward to seeing the results of their efforts when the reports are out. I was at Hacienda this morning, and it was at the beginning of the day, and so the kids are entering from breakfast in there in the hallway, and Miss Lance, one of the teachers, greets all the students, and she says, "Good morning," and the littlest kids were not saying, because they were not making a noise because it's testing and you can't talk in the hallways during testing. So they had that down. So it was really fun to see. So I know what stress that is, and testing has gone very well. I'll look at Debbie and make sure she's still giving me a thumbs up, because we've done a really good job throughout the district. It's a long process to get everybody where they need to be. And I do want to take a moment to thank Mrs. Johnson for her faithful service to our district. Erin's on the phone. And it's probably a good thing, because I'd probably cry if she was here in person. But she served Wickenburg Unified School District for 9 years and will certainly be missed. This is Erin's last day, her final board meeting, and the last time you get to hear her financial report. So I would just ask you all to thank, just to join me in thanking Erin and wishing her well. Her family has moved to Texas. She's moved on and gotten another job, and we're very happy for her. So, Erin, thank you very much.
Congratulations, Aaron.
Thanks, Erin.
Very kind. Thank you.
But just remember, when it's your turn for your report, you have to go slow enough, because James is here taking notes. Because next
I've written all the notes down for him on exactly what he has to say, so.
Oh, good.
So we're ready.
But since you aren't here, we can't have a party.
Oh, man.
No.
We'll have a party. Next time I'm in Texas, Aaron, I'll throw you a party.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so doctor, that was it for yours?
That is all I have.
All right,
Oh,
so,
can I add one more thing?
absolutely.
At Vulture Peak, when they did the Junior Honor Society, they made a point of saying that they were doing the new inductees and that the other kids from came. And I thought that was great that they came and supported the new kids that were coming
Yeah,
into the
it
Honor
is.
Society.
It is.
So now I'm finished.
I'll take one more breath just in case. All right. Okay, so if you're following along on the agenda, item 2B is a presentation that the governing board is going to receive from the auditor when he gets through traffic and gets in here. So we're going to adjust the agenda, possibly. I just had the, hold on a minute.
I never met him, but I'm sure it's him. Dennis.
Great entrance.
Perfect
Great
timing.
entrance. All
All right,
right.
good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis Maschke with CWDL. We're the audit firm. I appreciate you taking the time to go through the audit results with us. So you should have received in a packet, there's 4 different documents. So the big, long one, that's the annual financial report. And the thing to note in that is that we had a clean, unmodified opinion this year. So that's the highest level of opinion you can get. It's the same type of opinion that the district has gotten for, many years in a row. There's a lot of information in there. If you're gonna look at one section, I would look at the, page 4 through 12. That's what's called the management's discussion and analysis. It kind of gives you that high-level overview, the changes from one year to the next. And then after that is the basic financial statements, both the government-wide, which is a combination of all your funds, and that also includes the pension entries when you have to record the state retirement pension liabilities and your other long-term debt. And then after that's the fund financial statements, and then notes to the financial statements after that. The second document I'd like to talk about is what's called the single audit report. And I'll say single audit report on it, is anytime an entity has more than $750,000 of federal funding, you need to have a single audit done. And where we test your federal programs, and with ESSER being so large, that's the main one we've been testing over the past couple of years. So we did not have any federal compliance findings during the year. So that's also great news. We didn't, see anything coded to the wrong place or exceeding your compliance thresholds. There was one, what we call a financial statement finding, and it's just, we've talked to management about this. It's about making sure your revenues and expenditures are recorded in the correct module in that encumbrance period. So it's that July, August timeframe when some things really relate to the previous year, some things relate to the current or the upcoming year. Just making sure that we're really looking at that activity to get the revenue posted in the proper year of when it was earned, measurable, and available. And then expenditures, making sure those are recorded when the expenditure occurred. The third document is the USFR compliance questionnaire. It's a 26-page questionnaire of yes or no questions that we look at anything from attendance to procurement, annual financial reporting. And it kind of goes through a wide variety of yes and no answers. And we've accumulated those in the first 3 pages of that document just to kind of highlight any what we would call no answers. No's don't always mean that there's an error. It's just kind of more so informational to the Auditor General. Sometimes we see things that they know are going to happen. It's just pointing that out based on our populations and samples. And then the last document is called the governance communication, and that's just a letter from the audit firm to the governing board as to some of the major things that have occurred during the audit, or if major things did occur. This year, there was no, as in past, there was no disagreements with management. We had no uncorrected misstatements. There was no significant new accounting standards that we had to implement. So really, in that respect, not really much of a change from fiscal year '22 to fiscal year '23. And those are the four documents we had. You know, a lot of times we get asked, how do we compare to other districts our size? And so, you know, looking at that compliance questionnaire, I think there was around 10 to 14 no answers, which is very comparable to a district your size. You know, we see a wide variety. Sometimes we see 40 no answers. Sometimes we have 3 or 4, but there's always at more rural places and districts your size, things that do come up. So I think that that's right about average. And only having one thing noted in the single audit report, not having any federal findings, I would say is above average, you know, positive above. So with that, I'll open it up to questions anyone had.
Ron, did you think of any off?
No.
Randy?
Yeah, I got one. So is it my understanding then that the revenues that was found in the findings in the financial statement there, was that something that was just recorded into the wrong year and didn't catch into the 22, 23 year?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was something that was recorded it was actually the fiscal year '24 year that should have been recorded into fiscal year '23, and it was actually it was at the end of August. So it was something that was earned, we call it earned measurable and available. So it was for fiscal year '23, but I think because it was just so far, you know, after June 30th, it just got recorded in the fiscal year '24 ledger. And so that's where our recommendation comes in, is really anything that gets recorded in July and August to really hone in on those and make sure that they're being recorded in the proper fiscal year envisions. In the financial reporting module, there's 2 different sets of books, basically, one for the old year, one for the new year during that time period.
Thank you.
Good. Sandy, anything for him?
I was looking. And I'm trying to recall exactly how that was worded. There were a couple of things and I think it had to do with disposal of property,
Okay.
Cafeteria, different things like that. And I'm assuming that those were just clerical mistakes that people made where they didn't record it properly, or?
Yeah, so and this is kind of a newer question that the Auditor General is asking us to look at, where we do a physical inspection of assets. And what we do, I assume this is the one you're talking about, where we look at 5 assets from the capital assets listing, 5 from stewardship. And stewardship are assets that are $1,000 to $5,000. And then we look for 5 things from the floor. So if I was doing a walk around, maybe that TV there, you know, I would get the tag number and make sure it's on the corresponding listing. And there was just a few things that we noticed that we weren't able to track back to the listing. So it's more of that clerical issue about reconciling what is getting disposed of and what's on the associated listing.
Okay. Because I was thinking, you know, that when I was working, you know, I had a checklist, and I made sure I went through my checklist for when I was putting a job package together. And so, you know, I know people change and there's turnover and things like that. And so I'm just wondering, you know, if the knowledge isn't being passed on and that's why they're making clerical errors, or they're just being careless, or you don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it is something common we see. So a full physical inventory should be done of all assets every 3 years. So it doesn't need to be done every single year. So it could just be that we randomly are selecting some things that aren't fully getting updated in the listings. But again, we have talked with management about, you know, each of the findings. We've gone through with them, and you know, they understand them and how to make sure they're talking with the right people to correct them going forward.
Because all in all, I'd say we did pretty good. Good job, Aaron.
Oh, it's my team. I gotta give credit to the team and the whole district.
Susan?
Oh, no, I didn't have anything.
Dennis, the only thing I have to make comment on is I've got about, I don't know, 200 pages of documents from your firm right here. And you came in here with nothing. And you are answering the questions as if you had it like right here. Did you used to be a server in a restaurant and not go around with a pad and say you want fries?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, before I came here, I was looking through everything, and I have all the reports, they're all on my phone, so I was able to look at them in PDF. So, yeah, you guys are looking, that's about the most paper we have in our offices, too. We do everything digitally these days. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Appreciate the report and all the hard work you did, and thanks for answering the questions.
Yep.
And thanks for coming all this way.
All right, I appreciate it, and sorry for being late.
That's
No, that was
got a
perfect
little bit
timing,
of traffic,
actually.
so I
I was
apologize.
just getting ready to move you down,
Oh,
and here you walked in, so.
all right, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too,
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
All right, so that takes us to our first principal report, and we've got Vulture Peak Middle School and Principal Mrs. Davy.
Just discussion is later.
Good evening.
Good evening, President Malio, members of the school board, Dr. Mendini, and Mrs. Johnson. How are y'all this evening?
Doing fantastic. How about you?
Good.
So I see you came up there with your Surface. You're not going to pull a Dennis on us.
Well, I've learned to do both, so I also have a paper copy, so just in case.
All right. Randy, do you want to start?
Sure. As usual, very good report.
Thank you.
The things I liked seeing that you had, a list of all the different class updates, through grade levels and all that stuff. Just a little bit on each one. It's very helpful. I was really impressed to see that here at eighth graders, that you're showing that they're, career advancements already, looking at that. The trip to Westmac, the annual career fair, and even having the SRO in there doing these career exploration classes in law enforcement. Fantastic.
Thank you.
I don't think you can start these kids any too early for this stuff. And I'd like to see that you've got some parent involvement opportunities going on there. How's that working? Is it you getting more parents involved now?
You know, it comes in waves. So we are going to the middle, or to the elementary school, so I'm really excited about that. We've already got parents that are very excited about talking to us and everything, so that's coming up soon. So I anticipate a really good group of parents coming up with that fifth grade group.
Well, thank you, Anne Marie.
I really didn't have a whole lot. I believe I said this last board meeting and you weren't here, but congratulations to the girls' basketball team.
I know, that was very exciting.
Because I thought that was fantastic.
And our softball and baseball team are also in first and second place right now, so.
Great, well, congratulations to them, too. I was looking and I believe it was the Grand Canyon trip.
Yes.
Why are there only 16 kids going?
I wish I knew the answer to that. I actually talked to, the high school has the same thing. They don't have very many kids going on the senior trip either. We're not sure why. I mean, we kept the cost down as low as we could. We had 30 kids interested, and we called every single solitary parent of those students to make sure, here's the money that's due, when it's due, where we're going, what we're doing, sent all of the itinerary, everything we could possibly think of, but, and I haven't had any kids come up to me and say, oh, I've changed my mind, I want to make sure I go. I'm not sure why they don't want to. A lot of them are like, oh, we've already been to the Grand Canyon. I know, but it's different, it's with your friends, it's a trip.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so I guess that kind of popped out at me, that with all the kids that are there, that only 16 were
I
gonna
agree
go
with
on the
you.
trip.
I agree with you.
Just seemed kind of strange.
I want to go. I didn't get to go because there weren't
Yeah.
enough kids, so.
I remember when my kids went, when they were out in Morristown. I think that's how I really broke down. I just love seeing everything that's going on, and like I said, I thought it was great that the current National Honor Society kids supported the new inductees, and
It was very nice ceremony.
I'm just excited about that. And Wes Meck, I think is great. And I think I read in here, that there was some financial teaching going on, or am I getting it mixed up with high school?
I think you're thinking of Mr. Klopek's class. He does, yeah, it's a lot of fun. He does like a Wall Street where they do trading, and he does a competition with the kids, and they teach about finances and everything through the economics part of social studies.
That's what I thought.
So the kids have a lot of fun with it. And
Well, I think that's great, because I think that's something that's missing in education is financial.
right.
These kids really don't understand it, so it's good to see it starting lower, down.
The earlier the better.
Yes, I agree. Nope, I think that's it, and I'm good.
Well, I'll start with Project Momentum. I really like seeing that that you're getting that mentorship and the growth and looking for ways to improve. I think that's awesome, and I like hearing about it. I also love reading about all the 8th grade activities and just everything in general that's going on. There's so many opportunities for these students to do things outside of just their core classes, and I think that's amazing. The achievement aspect of it and all the different tasks going on to try to help kids achieve and also to help parents get more involved. Those are really great too. And I will see you at the career fair next week.
Good,
I'm very
yes.
excited.
Very good, thanks, Susan. Ron?
Okay. I had a couple questions that I noticed. Well, on page 8, okay, I'll just tell you that. That's probably the easiest thing.
Okay.
What's gears?
Are you talking about Project Momentum?
It's, well, let me go to page 8. I'll tell
Let me
you.
go to page 8 and find out. That sounds like a Project Momentum, so page 8.
It's, yeah, Project Momentum. Is that right? Where it says gears?
Right.
It was at
I
the
forgot
top of
what the
page
acronym
there.
is,
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
Yeah.
Strengths. What progress has been made towards improving student success related to gears?
Can I have Ms. Kotchkus? I blinked on the acronym, but she knows what that is. Sorry about that.
It's a tough
And then you blink on them, and I'd never heard of it before, so how do you think I
I can
feel?
picture it in my head, but she'll do a better job of explaining it.
Okay, so with our Project Momentum school improvement model, there are 6 gears. And so the teachers go through the gears when they're in their PLCs, their collaborative teams. So the gears are, what is it we want students to know and be able to do? How will we know if they've learned it? What are the best instructional strategies to gain the greatest results? What will we do with students who haven't learned it? What will we do for students who have learned it? And how will we catalog and save our work? So all of our, not all, but a lot of the Project Momentum grant funds go to our teachers in order to work through those gears. So for example, how will we know if they've learned it? Do we have assessments that will tell us, and they don't have to be 20-question assessments. They could be an exit ticket with 2 questions or a quiz with 5. Do we have assessments that are measuring that standard that I've just taught? And if we don't, can we get our team of teachers together to write a valid and reliable assessment? So things like that. Are we cataloging our work? Adam Bubb is creating a new curriculum management system that will create a Google site where teachers can catalog and put the things that they've done to answer any of these gear questions, you know, whether it be lessons or assessments or interventions or accelerated activities, so that any teacher coming behind them can also use those resources. So it's kind of the whole thing with curriculum, assessment, instruction.
None of those things have a start with a GEARS?
GEARS is not an acronym.
It's not an acronym.
It's a visual.
Okay.
The Project Momentum visual is gears working together, and it's a machine like the old
Okay.
little kid toys.
right
So,
Okay.
yeah,
need
I'm
that.
sorry,
They
we should
need
have
the
led with
acronym.
that.
I got that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a G.
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
so it's not an
No
acronym.
Gs.
No
Got
Gs,
it.
no.
Okay.
Hey Debbie, you don't have, that's okay, I just want to know real quick. So with Adam doing what he's creating, building, organizing, is that any teacher that's in promo can go to that, any campus? and
So
find
right-
this?
Yes, eventually, yes. So right now, we're in the building stage.
Okay,
So we have every content, to my knowledge, has either in the teacher, if they're a singleton, the teacher has their Google Drive, or there's a share drive amongst the content or the grade level. And so Adam has built in folders in those teachers' share drives where they, they've worked on these lessons and they're like, okay, this one did really well. We're going to pop that in the share drive in this unit. Or they're building out the units. And then the teachers have control on what is on that site. And yeah, so let's say I'm a 4th grade teacher, but I have a student that really needs some help in a 2nd grade standard. I could hop down to the 2nd grade share or their platform, the site, and I could look through standards to find activities that might work better for a student who's really struggling with some 4th grade content.
good, makes sense. Makes great sense. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give Ron his G. That's great information, Debbie.
I just have one question. Emery.
I was looking to see if I had an agenda that has, because we have, can I say,
Sure.
finish answering Ron? If you look on page 6, Ron, there is a Project Momentum agenda on there. And that's what we use when we do our PLCs every week. And it has those 4 questions that Ms. Hotchkiss just mentioned. And we focus on one question. So it's on page 6, there's a little agenda off to the side, on the right side.
Oh, over there in the
Sorry,
small print.
tiny little agenda.
Okay.
But anyway, those are the agendas that we use, and we focus on one of those 4 key questions when we do our PLCs.
Okay.
So,
I knew when Debbie was saying those, I'm going, I've read those.
yeah.
My question is, when Project Momentum started, and we got funded for it and everything, the idea was that, this was going to improve grades and things like, are we seeing improvement with this Project Momentum, or, I mean,
We did, when it first started, we saw a lot of improvement, and now I think we're still in recovery. I'll be honest with you. I think we're in recovery, and I think we're going to see a big swing this year. And we won't know that answer until we get our data for this year. But I believe it makes a huge difference because it gives those teachers that extra time to collaborate. It also gives us extra time outside of school hours to do all these extra things, do our unwrapped documents, which is taking our standards and breaking them down. And it gives the teachers extra time to collaborate outside of school time because it's very hard to do it during the school day. So it does help a lot.
I just ask you, like that little thing over there on the side you were pointing me to. It looks very nice on the page, but if it's something you really want us to read, could you put it on another separate page?
Sure.
So it can blow it up big enough to
Sure.
read?
I'll be happy
Because
to
I
do
tried
that.
blowing the thing up, even on my big screen at home.
Yeah, I can
and
add that
couldn't
as
get
a
it
page.
Where, once I got it up big enough to read, it was too blurry to read. so.
Okay. I kind of put it there just as a, just a picture
Okay.
to show you. I was
Oh.
not necessarily informational, but you asked a
Okay.
good
you
question,
can't
so
really make it.
it did go
Well, you
along with
can.
that.
Thank you.
You can make it go bigger.
Anybody else have anything for Mrs. Davy?
No.
I just want to do the summarization then. I really liked the report, all the data stuff is there, as always is. But I really like how, even if they only did a couple sentences, I like how each teacher on campus has a little summary of what went on or what's going on. And I'm really happy to see the Sergeant Daly got inducted into the April Fool. He's gonna love balloons forever now. But anyway, Anne Marie, great report. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do as well. I appreciate it.
Okay, so we've got our second principal report, and it's Wickenburg High School, and Mr. Gorman is here to answer all of our questions.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Malio, members of the board, Dr. Amandini, and Aaron.
Yeah, don't forget Aaron.
Oh, you see with Anne Marie there. So last time we could say that.
That's right. Okay,
Good evening,
so,
everyone.
Ron, do you want to start first?
Yeah, I can start.
Start it all, I mean, not
Yeah,
start first.
why not? Yeah, I like always, as always, the formatting of the report is self-explanatory for the most part. Yeah, and you figured out the, the whole system now, and either there's nothing that I had any questions about, or you left out all of those parts that I normally question.
Maybe it's a combination of both.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So you figured out the formula, but no, I mean, it's a great report, and I really don't have any questions.
All right.
Okay.
Susan?
No, I don't have any questions, just lots of good information in here. The 21st Century Grant application process, that's awesome. I'm excited to hear how that goes. The Cognia review, that's also great information. I think everything that the students have, the opportunities they have are awesome. I'm excited about just having more involvement there in the next 4 years and just everything going on. I think it's lots of good opportunities for kids to enjoy high school while still learning. So I'm excited and hope to see, improvements to come in the educational aspects that we're working towards. So.
And I just had that one comment, giving you kudos, but in the JAG program. And the one thing I like about the JAG program too is they do a lot of different things. It's not just one particular business they're just exposing these kids to such a variety of things.
Right.
And I kind of agree with Susan. There's no reason for a high school student to be bored. There are so many programs that they can get involved in, if they don't like sports, there's the drama, there's, JAG, there's all kinds of things. There's no reason for them not to be engaged in their education. So mainly that was my thing. I love JAG. I think it's great. I do have one question. Why is the prom so short? It's like from 6 to 9.
Even with it being short, if you've been there, the kids start to disappear around 8 o'clock.
Oh.
So as short as it is, it's still pretty quiet from 8 o'clock to 9 because so many of them, once the king and queen and kind of that stuff has happened, those announcements are made, they start to drift off to,
We didn't want
The
to
desert.
in high school.
So, I'm not sure where all they go, but they start to disappear. And then, you still have a few that hang out till the very end, but
Yeah.
it's always just sort of been that way. And
Just seems like it used to be
you're right,
longer.
it is
I thought,
pretty early.
Mine was,
6
yeah.
to 9.
That was a long time ago now.
geez, That's,
I think they went to 11 at one point, and then nobody was there.
yeah, because at
So
6
let's cut it
o'clock,
short.
they said that's the walk, and then at 6:30, the whatever, and then to eat. I go, okay, they have an hour to dance, and then I was told, well, nobody dances. I said, well, I danced at my prom, what do I know? These kids today. But it just seemed like a short period of time.
It is. I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
but
it-
you
but
didn't have
it-
cell phones back then either, Sandy.
No, it's true.
No
Just boys and
Facebook,
girls and lots of fun.
no social media.
It's true.
And I appreciate all the comments so far on JAG. That's one of our, I
It's-
think our
I just
star
think it's wonderful.
programs, and so excited that we have that, and so
West
many
Mech.
opportunities, and West Mech
Yeah,
program. yeah,
HOSA
CTE,
and
so-
FCCLA and all that
I
stuff.
mean, there's just so much, there's just so much. If you can't find something at the high school to get involved in, then you don't want to be involved. 'Cause, I think it's great.
Randy?
Good report, Mark. Again, I'll echo been said already about, JAG. I've always got to comment on that. It's just such a wonderful thing. I think it's so great that seeing the preparation for these kids for post-high school. It's, 'cause, high school is supposed to be a great fun time and all that, but I think at least this program gets so many of them interested in what they can look forward to in a career and that. And I see a lot of times they make things fun with it too. It's not always just work and all that. And of course, involvement with WestMec and the CTE, all good information. You got to keep it up.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so I do have one question for you.
Okay,
The building writing assessment,
yes.
was that a great time had by all?
Was it, I'm sorry,
A great time had by all?
it was.
This was everybody.
It was everybody. We spread it out over 3 days, as it says it stated, which normally you run them a day or maybe 2. We did 3 because we wanted to use our current schedules and not create something new. And so we did some planning and mapping things out. Then we did a day of pre-write, writing, and then the revision and the final draft. And then the real fun began when we all got together to look at all the writing. Yeah, but it's a good time. I think it was a good exercise. Just to elaborate a little bit on it, part of it was to see where our kids are, but part of it is we really want kids writing across all of our content areas, all of our courses. And so even though those teachers may not be writing teachers, we've brought in Step Up to Writing as sort of that framework for writing. And so we want them that are not writing teachers to have that experience of reading, looking at, and seeing what kids should be writing about, what good writing is, what the rubrics say it is at least, and then being able to assess kids and be able to implement that in their classroom. So it's more than just our kids, it's partly about the teachers learning that too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. And they've touched on everything else in here. Very excited to see where the 21st Century Grant application falls and to see we hope to
Yeah, hopefully we'll,
anything, or is it too soon? Or?
I'm not sure how soon we find out from them about the 21st century piece.
So we may not find out until June. I keep telling Barbara that she might hear whispers sooner. We're not obligated to tell us.
Well, my fingers are crossed. So.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that. We need that to help get the afternoon programs again back up and running full time.
Right.
And so fingers crossed we'll get that and we'll have that for the next few years.
Great. So I have nothing else to add other than great content as you do. And Ron's started off by complimenting the format, best format I've seen. So I really like that.
Appreciate it.
And the 5 kids you lost since February, did Mrs. Peterson gain those kids, or are they just wandering around?
I can say that she has not gained all of those kids. No.
Okay.
There are some that are I know where a couple of them are and they're not there.
They're not there, okay. All right, but otherwise, thank you so much, Mark, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. I think just real quick, just since you guys were talking, Jag, did you get the emails like that come to the staff that talk about the CDC, or because this week Jag was at the CDC, and just to kind of highlight a few things that were sent out. First of all, 38 of them went down to the CDC and stayed overnight, and so thanks for allowing them to do that. And there were no problems. So there's a celebration in itself, right? But some of the awards they took back were for creative decision-making, hospitality, the chapter banner that they have to create. They competed in tire changing and won something. I don't know what place they received in that. Financial literacy, they have to create a scrapbook of everything they do throughout the year. They won with that. And then they received, I don't know if you remember last year, we won the chapter of the year.
Right.
We got third this year, but still, with the number of JAG programs that are out there and quality JAG programs at that, that's an accomplishment in itself. So I want to congratulate them too, and just publicly acknowledge the greatness they have going down there in Jag, so.
No, that is great. And the only thing I want to say about that is that tire changing thing. My AAA guy can beat anybody, so. In other words, I ain't doing it.
Where did I see the pictures with the scholarships and stuff like that? Just recently, that they got in the JAG program? There was,
Well,
There was 8 kids standing there
Yeah.
for West Mech.
that was the West Mech. Those are
That was
kids that
West
were
Mech.
admitted to West Mech, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We did have two, we had two, we received 2 of the 4 JAG scholarships though at the CDC too. I didn't say that. So I
Wow.
think we had like
well, but there was
$5,000
a,
worth of scholarships
there
that
was
came
a
to kids from that.
picture of
Right.
kids, and there was,
Yeah, it's
had
right.
certificates.
Yeah, it's right here. It's that Zello thing.
Oh, is that what it is? Was it in there?
Or no, wait,
It's
it
up above
was
that
West Mech.
West Mech.
Yes.
It was
Those
West
are-
Mech.
Those are kids that were accepted into West Mech, and there's 9 of them actually. One's not pictured, but there's 9 kids that we have going to West Mech next
Okay.
year that were accepted and are part of the program, which is about 3 times what we have this year.
Yeah.
Great.
Just get, I mean, I see so much stuff. Where did I see that? Okay,
Anyway,
thanks.
thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, not least, but last is Wickenburg Virtual Academy and Mrs. Peterson.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And who would like to start?
I'll start, sure.
All right.
Yeah, the only comment I had is really, thank you so much for the information about the block scheduling and the analysis. I think that's awesome. I think it's great. I think block scheduling is amazing, just allowing kids to work at their own pace but faster and get through classes and be able to do more in a shorter period of time, especially with just the information about students graduating early and then students who are able to graduate that wouldn't already have been able to graduate because of it. So that's really exciting and just a great opportunity for kids to have that extra option.
Right, yes. Yeah, we've been pleased with it.
Yeah, that was all I had.
Okay, Sandy?
Really, not a lot. I think it's great that they're going down to the elementary school.
Yeah.
And, I think anytime you can interact and help and stuff, to me, that's just great.
And actually, the student that's doing that, she didn't need the credit anymore, and I gave her the opportunity. I'm like, hey, you don't need the elective credit, so do you want to, work more hours, et cetera? She's like, no, I think I want to keep going. And so I was kind of
Oh, that's
excited
so fun.
that
Oh,
she made
good.
that choice, so it
So
was
she's
neat.
enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah. I see we still have a couple of kids slacking.
Yeah, we have, I think
They
that's not going to
exist,
go away.
Sandy. They
I know.
In a dream world, maybe, but
I know.
we're living in
I expect
reality.
everything to be perfect. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I think it's great. I just hope kids learn on their own.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they're not learning academics, at least hopefully some time management, prioritizing, consequences, life skills.
Right. Right.
Randy?
Pretty much everything's been said. I did like the info on the block schedule, and still encouraging to see that discipline report and seeing that you got Officer Dally
Yes.
doing his thing there to
Yes.
even have some home visits.
And that's
pretty
new
good.
to him. So that was a good conversation for he and I to have, and we brought in Officer Leahy, and so Officer Daly was like, okay, this is something new, okay. And so it was fun, not fun, but a new challenge anytime you can learn something new and expand what's going on. And it was good for the kids to understand that there are multiple people invested in them getting an education, and that, we are aware of what's going on or not going on.
Good, I'm glad to see you staying on top of that. Thank you.
Yeah. Which is great because they know that we care.
Right, right.
We're not just doing it to be mean.
Right.
We're doing it because we care. We want them to get an education and come to school.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Officer Daly's having a good time.
Yes.
Ron?
No, I really don't have anything. It's a good report. I like the block schedule though. I
What I think will be the best part is the students that weren't going to graduate this year walking across that stage. Like,
Right.
if you could see them, they came and picked up their cap and gowns this week and grinning ear to ear. Like, I know the work that they've done, and that's the best part.
Yeah, I think without that, you probably wouldn't have them.
Oh, no, they would not have made it. No.
Yeah, I really like the program. Colleen, thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Great report. Just nice and concise, and they said everything. So,
Okay,
thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we move into item number 3, which is informational items. And you'll see that item A is correction of Wickenburg Unified School District's Food Service Management Company selection for evaluation scores. You just want to touch real quick on that?
Yeah, Erin, were you going to speak to item 3A, or would you like me to?
Certainly, I can speak to it. So what happened was the report that got submitted to you at the last meeting did not include the scores after the presentation was completed. So you only had a portion of the scores. So this new report shows that additional scoring that's all highlighted in yellow. It does not change the outcome of who is awarded for the RFP. We've already notified ADE and sent them the correction, and there's no issues there. So just a minor clerical error that was sent to us and shared with you. So we're just making the correction to make you know, just known for transparency reasons.
All right, thank you. All right, next item is call to the public. Anybody in the public wish to speak? Nobody in the public wishes to speak. We'll move along to our consent agenda. Do we have any board members that need anything pulled from the consent agenda before we take action? Okay, we'll entertain a motion for consent agenda then.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items for April 16th, 2024 as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we're moving along to action item A, request for approval of financial reports presented by Mrs. Erin Johnson, Executive Director of Business Services, for the last time.
Goodness, you make it sound so somber.
You ought to see me.
He's crying.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Remendini. Thank you for having me this evening from afar. In front of you, you will see the business account summary and payroll expense vouchers. Expenses are still, as always, trending well where I expect us to be. We are still on track to have a nice carry forward into next year, which is definitely most needed with the state of the budget and legislature and what's happening there. So it will be good to have that cushion. We've always tried to budget conservatively, and so that will certainly pay off moving into next year. Our budget balances are positive. We are in compliance, and there are no surprises to the best of my knowledge. In the payroll and expense vouchers, you will see that there are a couple of items that are over the $10,000 mark. Voucher 2473 on March 19th. There is a donation account 530, which is WELIC, and we did have some expenditures in there totaling about $49,000. And there were 2 POs that went through, and those were to USA, and those were for some Chromebooks and management licenses. That's what that grant was specifically for. Voucher 2474 on 321. We had some expense out of M&O just shy of $13,000, and that was to Ascend, which is a private placement facility. We also had a voucher 2475 on 326 to the ACES for a little over $10,000. That came out of M&O, again, private placement. And then voucher 2476 on March 28th, Fund 480. This is going to be an ongoing expense that you're going to see. It was for $22,570, and that is to pay our SRO officers. That's what that grant fund is for. And then voucher 2477 on April 2nd. Again, this is going to be an ongoing charge that you're going to see. It was for $12,000 out of M&O, and that's the Sun Valley Yard Services. That's just for our landscaping services that we pay on a monthly basis.
Okay, very good. Anybody have any questions or comments for Mrs. Johnson?
No, but I like the explanations.
Yes. We really like those explanations.
Good, good. Well, James has been copied on my notes of how I keep track. We have Lisa, our accounts payable employee, who sends those over to us with the information, and then I just keep a running list so that I'm prepared to bring that information to you at the board meetings, and I know James will continue to do that.
I already got the thumbs up, so yeah, you're exactly right. So, all right.
Good.
If we can get the motion we need for that one.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
Great job. Appreciate you. You're not hanging up on us yet, are you?
No, not yet. You're welcome and my pleasure. You've been an awesome board to work with.
Well, thank you. All right, so now we move on to action item 5B. And this is a request for acceptance of the Wickenburg Unified School District financial audit fiscal year 2022 to 2023. And we need to do a roll call vote on that. So I'll call your name and you A or nay. Randy?
We need a motion first, or?
No, it's individual.
We need a motion to do it? Oh, yeah, let's have a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Wickenburg Unified School District financial audit fiscal year 2022, 2023.
I'll second.
Okay, can I start over?
You can do that again.
Okay, I was just practicing. Randy Hodges,
I approve it.
Sandy Gill,
Aye.
Susan Webster,
Aye.
Ron Alexander,
Aye.
Joe Malio. Here. Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, everybody, for entertaining that one. And now we go on to action item 5C, and that's the first reading of all of those policy advisories. Anybody have any comments, questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What's considered a common school?
A common school in the state of Arizona are the K-8 school districts. So Aguila, Congress, Morristown are common schools. They don't serve high school students.
Okay, thank you.
That was a great question.
There was one in there, there's someplace in there that there was said common school, and I know what that definition was.
Anybody else have a question or comment? Okay. All right, move along to, excuse me. What time to start that? All right, item 6, informational items. Items for future agendas. Announcements and calendar. I'm just gonna make it, I think.
Joe, I'd like to make an announcement.
Yes,
You're there right now, announcements?
Yes.
I'm at announcements
Okay.
right now.
Regretfully, I've submitted a letter of resignation from the school board, personal reasons, and that is as of the conclusion of today's board meeting.
Who's that?
Randy.
Oh, you submitted a resignation.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want Erin to get her resignation for today by herself.
See, now we can still have a party. We got one person here in person.
Because your term went through
The end
December.
of-
Yeah.
Through December, correct.
Okay.
Well, sorry to hear that, Randy, but thank you so much for your service.
Sure.
Yeah,
Many
thank
years
you,
of
Randy.
service.
It's been a joy to work with you, Randy.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
Thanks.
May I?
Yes.
Mr. Hodges, thank you so much for your service on the governing board. I know your fellow board members appreciate it, but I personally have really appreciated having you as the board member who hired me and still here, on the same board, and appreciate your care for our district and our students. So thank you. I hope you enjoy your newfound time.
Thank you. You're very welcome, Barbara. Thank you. And thank you all.
All right, any other announcements or anything? I want to thank Casey for the calendars and schedules. Appreciate it. And we can move along to item 7, which is the closing of the meeting.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 6:26.